Hello everyone. I know it's been a very, very, very long time since I last made a video, and I've missed you all so much. But I recently received a package from one of you. It's this book, A Light in the Attic, Poems and Drawings by Shel Silverstein. And this is a book that I had on my Amazon wish list because I thought it'd be perfect for bedtime stories. This is a book that I read when I was a kid. I remember checking it out of my elementary school library multiple times. And also Where the Sidewalk Ends was the other one that I loved so much. So I wanted to give a shout out to Tom for sending me this book. Thank you so much, Tom. It's been actually a really big motivation for me to get back in front of the camera. So thank you. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Sergio for donating to my Patreon. Thank you so much. Alright, I think I'm about ready to get started. How about you guys? When I was a kid, I never really understood dust covers. I thought they were weird and I did not like them. I feel like books look really nice just in their kind of cloth state, but for this purpose, I could add some nice sticky finger sounds. So this is the special edition with 12 new poems. It also says coming fall 2017, so it came out recently. Is Runny Rabbit Returns. So I didn't know Shel Silverstein was still making books, but that's exciting. And on the back here, there's a picture of him. Definitely not the kind of guy I would consider. I would assume it would have been like an old man with a long white beard. I don't know, like a Santa Claus kind of figure. I don't know. It says this book is dedicated to Shauna. A light in the attic. There's a light on in the attic. Though the house is dark and shuttered, I can see a flickering flutter, and I know what it's about. There's a light on in the attic. I can see it from the outside, and I know you're on the inside, looking out. I'm going to start flipping some pages, and I'm going to pull some random passages out. I guess I'll see if I find one with an illustration that grabs my attention. This one's called What Did? What did the carrot say to the wheat? Let us rest, I'm feeling beat. What did the paper say to the pen? I feel quite all right, my friend. What did the teapot say to the chalk? Nothing, you silly. Teapots can't talk. Alright, some good puns going. That's good. This one's called Monsters I've Met. I met a ghost, but he didn't want my head. He only wanted to know the way to Denver. I met a devil, but he didn't want my soul. He only wanted to borrow my bike a while. I met a vampire, but he didn't want my blood. He only wanted 2 nickels for a dime. I kept meeting all the right people at all the wrong times. It's interesting to think about the meanings that these poems might have, considering that the target demographic is children. You might hear some clanking or scratching in the background, and that would be Banjo. He's a little restless right now. Oh wow, this one's a beautiful illustration. It's called The Dragon of Grinly Grun. I am the dragon of Grinly Grun. I breathe fire as hot as the sun. When a knight comes to fight, I just toast him on sight, like a hot, crispy cinnamon bun. When I see a fair damsel go by, I just sigh a fiery sigh. And she's baked like a tater. I think of her later, with a romantic tear in my eye. I am the dragon of Grindley Grun, but my lunches aren't very much fun, for I like my damsels medium rare, and they always come out well done. The pages in this book are kind of thick, the paper. It's really nice, and really nice quality. This one's called Wavy Hair. I thought that I had wavy hair until I shaved. Instead, I find that I have straight hair and a very wavy head. This one's called Bear in There. There's a polar bear in our frigid air. He likes it 'cause it's cold in there. With his seat in the meat and his face in the fish and his big hairy paws in the buttery dish. He's nibbling the noodles, he's munching the rice, he's slurping the soda and licking the ice. And he lets out a roar if you open the door. To know he's in there, that polary bear in our frigid air. Not sponsored by Frigidaire. This one's called Asians. If we meet and I say hi, that's a salutation. If you ask me how I feel, that's consideration. If we stop and talk a while, that's a conversation. If we understand each other, that's communication. If we argue, scream, and fight, that's an altercation. If later we apologize, that's reconciliation. If we help each other home, that's cooperation. All these Asians add up, makes civilization. And if I say this is a wonderful poem, is that exaggeration? Very fitting for this time, I think. This one is called Wild Strawberries. Are wild strawberries really wild? Will they scratch an adult? Will they snap at a child? Should you pet them or let them run free where they roam? Could they ever relax in a steam-heated home? Can they be trained to not growl at the guests? Will a litter box work or will they leave a mess? Can we make them a cowberry herding the cows? Or maybe a muleberry pulling the plows? Or maybe a huntberry chasing the grouse? Or maybe a watchberry guarding the house? And though they may curl up at your feet, oh so sweetly, can you ever feel that you trust them completely? Or should we make a pet out of something less scary, like the domestic prune or the imported cherry? Anyhow, you've been warned, and I will not be blamed if your wild strawberry cannot be tamed. When I was a kid, strawberries were my favorite fruit. My grandma would buy them in bulk. And when me and my dad would go on road trips together, she would just give me like tons and tons of strawberries, and I would eat them all so fast. Did any of you ever pick out wild strawberries from the yard and eat them? There was always a rumor that they were poisonous. Not true. This is one of the illustrations that I remember very vividly for some reason. This one here. The shapes. A little circle, and a square, and a triangle. This one's perfect for a bedtime story. It's called Tired. I've been working so hard, you just wouldn't believe, and I'm tired. There's so little time and so much to achieve, and I'm tired. I've been lying here, holding the grass in its place, pressing a leaf with the side of my face, tasting the apples to see if they're sweet, counting the toes on a centipede's feet. I've been memorizing the shape of that cloud, warning the robins not to chirp so loud, shooing the butterflies off the tomatoes, keeping an eye out for floods and tornadoes. I've been supervising the work of the ants, and thinking of pruning the cantaloupe plants, timing the sun to see what time it sets, calling the fish to swim into my nets, and I've taken 12,041 breaths, and I'm tired. This one's called It's All the Same to the Clam. You may leave the clam on the ocean's floor. It's all the same to the clam. For 100,000 years or more, it's all the same to a clam. You may bury him deep in mud and muck, or carry him round to bring you luck, or use him for a hockey puck. It's all the same to the clam. You may call him Jim, or Frank, or Neil. It's all the same to the clam. Or make an ashtray from his shell. It's all the same to the clam. You may take him riding on the train, or leave him sitting in the rain. You'll never hear the clam complain. It's all the same to the clam. Yes, the world may stop, or the world may spin. It's all the same to the clam. And the sky may come a-fallin' in. It's all the same to the clam. and man may sing his endless songs of wronging rights and righting wrongs. The clam just sets and gets along. It's all the same to the clam. This one's called The Painter. I'm the man who paints the stripes upon the zebras, and I also paint the warts upon the toad. And with this brush and pot, I give leopards lovely spots, and add some color to the chipmunk's coat. I paint the flaming red on robin's redbreast. I pour the blue on bluegills by the shore, and when the fireflies dim, I splash silver paint on him, and he shines more brightly than he did before. Jack Frost, he's just a part-time working fellow, touching up the leaves and trees and things. He's famouser than me, but I'm happier than he, 'cause I paint the one that runs and flies and sings. This one's called Shadow Race. Every time I've raced my shadow, when the sun was at my back, it always ran ahead of me and always got the best of me. But every time I raced my shadow, when my face was toward the sun, I won. This one's called Rhino Pen. Tell me then, of all you've seen, what could be more preposterous than forgetting your pen and writing a theme with the horn of a patient rhinoceros? Let's do one more, and then we'll do some paper sounds. We'll go ahead and read one of the special edition poems from this book. This one's called The Snack. I found a clam beside the sea, inside a seedy sack. Says I to the clam, "Dear sir or ma'am, allow me to call you Jack. Will you come home with me for company and maybe a midnight snack? For I have some nicey spicy sauce to pour upon your back." I put that clam in a pewter pot and boiled a burbling brew, and he soaked and he steamed, and his green eyes gleamed, and he grew and he grew and he grew. He was oh so small, now he's 12 feet tall, and I'm feeling rather blue, 'cause he's pouring Tabasco on my back. I wonder what he'll do. So that was my selection from A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein. I want to play with some of these sounds we can make before we go. That's pretty. This is what the book looks like without the cover. It's just like a black cloth with Shel Silverstein's signature in gold. It's beautiful. And on the side it says, "A Light in the Attic Special Edition." That sounds wonderful. Don't you love that sound? I hope this video was relaxing for you, and if it really was your bedtime story, I hope I put you to sleep by now. If you're not quite ready to go to sleep and you'd like to watch another bedtime story, I stories video.